There we go, wrong. So hopefully that'll start playing in a minute. We'll pick it up. Hopefully. I've got excellent connections. Live chat's gone on. We are live. What we're not, but hopefully just watch it. Is the music playing? You can't see us though, can you? Okay. Wicked. Let that just go for a little while. Coin Noob's on. Which is cool. Do you want to go over? I'll be safe in your arms, like the light in the day never part. I've got this glass of and I promise you I'm not going to get pissed. I won't. Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Yeah, I'll be fine. Cool, you can hear me, I can hear you, we're screaming. I'll be fine. Yeah, I'll be fine. No. There's always a bit of a delay on the chat. Yeah. Marcus, hello. Yes, we can. Cool. So all I can hear is the music. Let's fucking go, boy. Someone put. And someone said they can hear me, so that shouldn't be happening. But fuck it, doesn't matter. I'm not perfect. Right, let's go over, dude. Let's bring you on. Transition over. Music should stop and we should be live, hopefully. Yeah. Can you see me? And I can see you too. Yeah, already. Can everyone see us? Are we coming across? Okay. Can you hear Camel? Can you hear me? And does everything look okay? We are live, man. We are fucking live. And yeah, did Andy buy Trump? Is Camel holding 5%? No. Dude, we've finally done this live, and I promise you I won't get drunk like last time we did a live. Without a without a doubt. How are you doing? All right? Good. Camel is speechless. Mate, it's crazy, man. I listened to your video on Monday, and then we had a chat, didn't we, Tuesday? And I said, mate, what's happening in this space? For God's sake, man, it seems to really going upside down. And I can't hear you. Oh, right. Oh, that's weird. We can't hear him. Okay. So what's going on there? Slight technical hitch. Let's find Camel. Right. Go on, try that, mate. Can you hear Camel? Can you hear me now? I'm glad you're keeping an eye on that chat. I have no idea. Can anyone hear Camel? Can't hear Camel. Okay, we still can't hear. So let's see what's going on here. Bear with us, guys. We'll get this. Oh, we had this before, didn't we, dude? And I think possibly we go into there, Windows capture, Zoom, live streaming, yeah. Certainly don't want that. Okay, so why can't I get, oh, I think I know why. I've got to try and remember what to do here. Fucking hell, talk, mate, while I'm fucking about with this. If you don't mind. I think I've got to find get you into here. Add all active Windows capture. That's why I found you, dude. Don't worry. We should be good in a minute. Monitor and output. Hang on. It's not coming up on my audio for some reason. Why isn't it not picking you up? Oh, I can see it as well. Oh, I think I know why. Let's transition that over. No, that didn't work either. Bloody hell, this is embarrassing, isn't it? But hey ho. I thought this had all sorted out, but obviously not. I can see the problem, but I can't work out how to get you in. That off. Windows capture. It doesn't. No, you're definitely not. I can hear you sound as a pound, dude. Yeah, but it's not. Oh, brilliant! Thank you, Mary. That's really cool. Yeah. I don't understand what's going on at the moment. Oh, capture Windows. It's on Windows. Oh wow, that's really cool. Oh Jesus Christ, man! I just want this to work. I tried this out with my daughter the other day, and it worked absolutely fine. No, mate, it should be picking it up via Zoom, via Windows Capture, because I'm hearing you absolutely fine. So we might need to. Yeah, might help, might it? Audio output capture. Let's have a look. Bomb. Default. Close. Right, I've now got audio output capture. You talk.
Hello. Mic check.
I think
Yay, says Gio.
Yay.
Let's go. Welcome to the W.O.T podcast.
We'll start again. Cheers, everybody. Thank you very much for coming along. Yeah, where was we, dude? Where was we? Oh, yeah, we was talking about your video, wasn't we? And it just absolutely blew me away, really, that what's going on since Trump come along. did this Trump coin, and I know we've had fart coin, we've had now Elon pushing Doge coin. What's happened to What's happened to everything, dude? What the hell's going on? What is going on?
The simulation's glitching, I think. I think it's someone hacked it, or it got a bug, or it reached its hard drive capacity. Something's broken. Or maybe I'm just too dumb to understand what's going on. Maybe this is the new paradigm. Maybe this is not going anywhere, and this is going to continue indefinitely. Who knows? Who knows? But I am enjoying watching it.
It's just bloody weird. It is really weird. It pees me off. I get really angry with it all. I don't know why I get angry with it all. It fucks around with my emotions all the time, and I sit there sometimes like, what the hell is going on? What I believed in, especially with Bitcoin. I know you're into your Bitcoin, and I'm into my Bitcoin big time. Pardon me. It. I know. Are we losing the plot? Are we really? Are we just chasing this bloody fiat dollar more than we realise or don't realise, and we're just jumping on anything, trying to make money because we think that's the right way to do it, or we're just trapped on this fiat bullshit crap chasing thinks it's going to make us better, or do we actually believe that we haven't got any other way forward? And that's why I get a little bit frustrated that, you know, if anyone ever wants to get into Bitcoin and really learn about what Bitcoin's doing, I hate to say like what Bitcoin's doing because it makes it sound like a cult, but it isn't. For me personally, it isn't about Bitcoin. It's about understanding myself, what my relationship is with value, what my relationship is with money, and Bitcoin's just helped bring it out a little bit more. I don't know how you feel about that.
I saw, funny enough, somebody, I forget who it was, somebody made an excellent point to me the other day, though, that many people start with altcoins or meme coins, and then eventually it funnels them into Bitcoin. They kind of
Yeah.
come into the space and they go, wow, Bitcoin's already expensive. I can't own a whole one. Or they can't conceive that it can continue to go up a lot. And then they think, well, I've only got a small amount of money. Maybe I try and shove it in some meme coins or something that's going to return much more than Bitcoin will. And then, you know, maybe they get lucky and it works out, in which case mission accomplished. But also maybe you have to kind of lose it and blow it up and then say to yourself, well, now I got two choices, right? I can walk away and give up, or we could do a bit more research and maybe try something a little lower on the risk spectrum, such as Bitcoin or gold or stocks, whatever else.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I'm going into my fourth year of Bitcoin, like being in Bitcoin, and I'm almost beginning to like not even for me personally wanting to associate myself with Bitcoin. It's just like I don't want to be associated. I want to be associated with what I'm learning from my self point of view. Everything I've believed in's just been turned up in the air. Bitcoin, obviously studying Bitcoin, and boy have I studied it, and I continue to study it, has helped me know more about myself than probably anything else. Well, maybe most things that I've just taken for granted in life. Are you the same?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I've always been. It's weird because I used to think of myself as very open to taking risk. And I got started, as you know, with penny stocks. And that was like, to me at the time, that was extremely risky.
Mm.
And then it was like Bitcoin, I would say, was a little step up from that.
Yeah,
Although roughly speaking, the same. I say it has more upside, but about the same downside.
yeah,
Um, but then when it came to like meme coins and altcoins, that's just so far outside of my risk profile. Um, and I guess some of that is privilege because I don't need to take intense risks. I'm not in any rush to kind of make a, try and make a huge lottery ticket win overnight.
yeah.
I can comfortably, I've got the things, I've got my basic necessities, and so I don't really need to go to the extreme end of the risk curve. Um, I wonder if I wonder if we've kind of just gotten to a point in society where the fiat's been debased so much and interest rates have been restricted for a while, and house prices are really expensive relative to wages, and even the stock market's super overvalued now. like all the PE multiples and whatever metric you use, it's an expensive market. And I just wonder if this is like the next evolution. I wonder if sometimes I wonder if it's brand new, and to a certain degree it is. But another part of me wonders if instead this is kind of like pets.com and the dot-com bubble repeating all over again. People just speculating on anything and everything because they believe it's never going to stop, and they believe that, why waste your time buying some growth stock that pays a dividend? No, sorry, excuse me, some normal stock that pays a dividend when you can shove all in on some growth stock that
Yeah.
is going to be the future of pet shops. And I just wonder if that's what we're seeing. I wonder if that's what we're seeing. Just we're getting to kind of like the late stages of a big bull market that's been going on for about 4 decades.
Yeah.
And this is just perhaps an evolution of that.
But I think you just turned and said during that people, what did you say? People believe it will always go up. Do you really think that, though? Do you really think most people get into a meme coin and think it's just going to keep going up?
I don't think they believe it's going up necessarily. I think
Yeah.
they believe they got a chance.
Yeah.
And I think it's the chance they're buying. I mean, you probably saw that poll I did on Twitter
Yeah.
where I kind of said, what if I created a camel meme coin and held 80% of the supply
Yeah.
and told you, I said in one of the polls, I said, what if I told you my plan was to rug it?
Yeah.
Would you still buy it?
Yeah.
And something like 40% of people said, yep, still buy it. Even if you tell me ahead of time, openly and honestly, you're going to hold 80% of the supply and pull the rug.
Yeah.
People don't care. 4 out of 10 people said, I don't care, give me exposure. I'll try. And they fancy their chances of getting in and out before the person, in this case me, can pull the rug. And I also thought it was hilarious because I then reran a slightly similar poll,
Yeah.
which said, what if I did it differently? What if I held 80% of the supply? Said that I promised I wouldn't rug it.
Yeah.
I said, would you trust me? And then would you buy it? And it was really funny because we got about the same numbers. Still
Yeah.
about 4 in 10 people were happy to buy it.
Yeah.
And about 10% of people said they didn't trust me, but they'd buy it anyway.
Yeah, it's fucking. Sorry, excuse my language. Well, it'll be a bit ranty tonight, but it's just absolutely bizarre to me. It's bizarre, and it. I find myself now trying to work out: am I wrong? Am I getting it wrong? Am I in too deep? Am I getting too involved? Am I do I need to just take a step back and just let people do their thing? Because I look at this as I'm very fortunate because my 2 boys, my eldest boy wants to get into investing now because he's ready, and I find myself with my family because they want to know that I've got a responsibility to help them, and I can't help them by saying, yeah, buy this meme coin, you'll make some money, and you can get out and you're fucking rich, because it's bollocks. It's absolutely bollocks. That's not the right thing for me to. That I feel that's for me to do. It's. Let's just look at what's going on, take our time, find out what our goals are, and just see if we can play this game that's going on around us and be better ourselves with it, possibly or possibly not. And that to me, when I start seeing all this stuff going on, is so confusing for people. But I just sit there and I think, do people want to do it anyway? Are people stuck in their own little worlds where they think, well, I can't do anything. It's no good. I've got no one that I can go to get any investment advice or any advice or a mentor or anything. So fuck it. I'm just going to go to work, get on the hamster wheel, and take a bet here and there. Do you think that's the majority of people?
I don't know if it's the majority, and we perhaps suffer a little bit from like a biased perspective because crypto's quite small, right, relative to bonds or real estate, or it's like a drop in the ocean. So,
Yeah.
and then of that, what is it like? About a third or a half is Bitcoin,
Yeah.
and the rest is everything else. So, it probably is quite a small amount of people that are going to the furthest extreme of that risk curve possible.
Yeah.
But I also think some of this is not helped, or it's egged on by people that should probably, and maybe I shouldn't be so judgmental, but I think they should probably think about what they're saying and doing and condoning a little bit more when they're in a position of influence and power. To have the president say, here's a official meme coin, seems a little bit like we're green lighting it, right? You know, he's already rich, he's already established, already powerful. Lots of people, particularly if you're newer into the space, will go, okay, well, how could that possibly fail? And you might say, well, that's on them, right? It serves them right for not doing research or whatever.
Yeah.
But we've all been there at some point. We were all brand new the first time we ever showed up to a market, right?
100%.
And then, you know, you look around and even influencers or finfluencers, whatever, they build up a following, they post every day, they build a community, they do what they can to form connections with their audience. And then when they suddenly say, hey, man, I've got a good idea, like I'm launching a meme coin, it's easy to sort of say, well, no thanks, I'll pass. Don't trust you.
Yeah.
But a lot of people go, well, I tune into this guy or girl every day.
Yeah.
I believe them. I've followed them since they were however long and however young. And now they're here. I've seen this big journey. And if they say, hey, look, I want to give something back to the community.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to kind of play on people's naivety or willingness to trust. And it's very easy as a Bitcoiner to say, don't trust anything, verify it. And you'd probably be right. You'd probably lose less money that way.
Yeah.
But you got to have some trust in the world. And I do think it's not really fair. Like, I mean, in case anyone doesn't know, I have no intention of launching a meme coin. I was just asking the question because I thought it'd make an interesting topic of conversation. But as the poll showed, and it is just Twitter, fair enough, but about 40% of people will willingly buy it if I make it. And if 40% of my audience combined across all the platforms puts in $1,000 or $500, I could buy a nice boat with that. Do you know what I mean? And it's not fair. And you can also make the argument the other way that, well, they asked for it. And if I'm open, then, you know, that's on them. But I just think it's a bit of an egregious abuse of influence, power, community. These are people that are tuned in every day and giving up their time to follow these influencers or celebrities. And that's how you repay them, by buying yourself a boat with their money, with their hard-earned, right?
Yeah. Do you think this is going to get worse, though, now?
I think it has to. It has to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
And it might, I'm even starting to entertain that it might not get better. When the president of the United States is launching his own meme coin, it put it on the stage for the world to see that it's okay. As long as you put some small print that says it's not it's not an investment contract, there's no expectation of profit.
Yeah.
Then apparently that's fine. And I think there's a good argument to make when you tell people it's not an investment and don't expect profit return and I'm going to rug it anyway. If they want to buy it, I mean, but then it's the same sort of conundrum with, is selling narcotics acceptable? It's like, well, if they're going to willingly buy it, should they buy it from you? If you don't sell it, will they just buy it from someone else?
Yeah.
Probably. But again, it's kind of like, it's a bit of a grey area for me. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's boys' club all over again, isn't it?
Yeah, almost. And have you heard my theory that this might be deliberate to keep liquidity from going to quality, such as Bitcoin or gold?
Go on.
It's just a speculation of mine, but I do wonder if there is someone up in that boys' club that wants to willingly let this go, kind of make it, what's the word, front and center in the mainstream, make it acceptable, make people think that this is normal and to be expected. And every pound or dollar they put into a meme coin, an NFT or an altcoin that doesn't outperform Bitcoin is money they could have bought Bitcoin or gold with, or something that's not entirely speculative. And I do wonder if they deliberately are, because you could think about this the other way as well, right? Imagine if we didn't have any altcoins, no meme coins, no NFTs. It was just Bitcoin only.
Yeah.
All of the market cap would flow there.
Yeah.
Right? And we'd already be 3 times higher. We'd already be about 300K.
Yeah.
My calculation might be slightly off. Don't quote me on that. But let's say 200 to 300K. We're not going to be far off.
Yeah, I'll get the drift, yeah.
Yeah. And then when there's nothing else to buy, every month when people get paid, they could, of course, put it somewhere else. Or if they want exposure to crypto, they're going to put it in Bitcoin. And then we get all of this burn and churn money just buying Bitcoin and holding it.
Yeah.
And because it's not going to explode up, 10,000x in a weekend, you're going to more likely DCA into it, hold it for the long term, learn about it, cold store it, all of this stuff. And I've long suspected that they don't want that. I don't think they want that. I think they want a handful of people to own all of it. Your sailors, your BlackRock, your ETF providers, all of that kind of stuff. And then everyone else is allowed to fight it out in the trenches, hoping to buy a lottery ticket that wins. And eventually, probably when they've got their position and they're ready and they've completed whatever their mission is for it,
Yeah.
then they'll probably outlaw everything else, or maybe they won't. Maybe they just continue to let people kind of gamble at the casino.
Yeah, it's I don't know, mate. We've had many conversations about the boys' club, the market makers. I'm learning more about MMs, market makers, more and more and more lately. And this always goes back to one of, I noticed Cobra's in the chat as well. Hi, Cobra.
Hi, Cobra.
That I think one of my videos when I was on my other channel, I used a chess board and a Monopoly board. And I think I did a video around, there's always going to be us running around playing Monopoly while the people on the chessboard are playing their games, doing what they're doing. And I've seriously cannot get away from this thought that regardless of what I think, what I do, how I want to be, what I think should be, what I think we should be doing, shouldn't be doing, it's irrelevant to a degree, because the boys' club will always do what they need to do on that chessboard, and I'm not invited up there. My whole goal is to try and recognise that, one, it exists, two, recognise that I am one of the peasants, and like history's always denoted, I wasn't born into noblehood, and it's down to me to try and educate myself around trying to work out how I can improve my life. And I can only do that at an individual level, and then teach my kids to do the same, and then try to bring that space openly onto the internet to express those views. Would that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Do you see that way? I mean, as much as I've watched so many different things, and we seem to be obsessed about saying what the government should be doing, shouldn't be doing, what these people should be doing, what the bank should be doing. And at the end of the day, it fucking doesn't matter, excuse my French, because I can't influence it. The only way I can influence it is to educate myself and choose at this early stage to opt out, because I can opt out. I have at this moment in time a choice to opt out. And then hopefully other people will start to educate themselves and start to realize that they too can opt out, but you're not going to get rich overnight by doing it unless you go down the gambling on Bitcoins and bits and pieces. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course it does. It's interesting you brought up the government thing, with
Yeah.
everyone criticizing and having their own ideas. Because I was, just before I hopped on here, I was talking to my wife about this.
Yeah.
Because you had the government that's just left in America, and they seemed very totalitarian, right? And I'm not going to go into all of that stuff. We all kind of know what they wanted and what they didn't want and whatever. But the point I'm making here is, at the end of the day, they are just people, right? They're people with an idea, and they want to use their power and control and their money to shape the world according to their perspective. And the funny thing is, now we've got a new government. I think on the surface, we go, oh, this is way better. It's going to be more pro this, more pro free speech, more pro whatever, less of this, less of that. And hopefully, yeah, that would be great. But at the end of the day, at the absolute most fundamental level possible, it's still a group of rich humans that are making a decision that benefits them and their family and friends first. And then what they're hoping is they can convince the rest of us to get on board with that. And I know it's very easy to say, well, of course we don't want all that other stuff we had before. Now we want to change this, this, and this. Anyone that knows me knows exactly where I fall on the spectrum and all that kind of thing. But it is objectively true that the prior government, with all of their, let's call it tyranny and whatever else they were bringing in, all of that reset stuff and the pandemic stuff, the absolute truth of the matter is they actually did convince a lot of people to go along with that. That was accepted. And it might not have been healthy, and a lot of people woke up and a lot of people pushed back and a lot of people said no more. But it's also true that a great deal of people said, well, if that's what I'm told to do, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Right? And I was saying to my wife earlier, if you could just imagine the scenario where, I don't know, 80% of the population said, yep, fine, whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have even had a change of government.
No.
We just got really lucky, depending on what side of the fence you sit on, of course, that lots of people said, oh, I don't want to have this anymore. I don't want to, I'm not going to tolerate this. I'm going to push back. I'm going to vote someone else. I'm going to do what I can, blah, blah, blah. But now we're kind of right back in that same situation where we've again got our trust in this group of people that are essentially just very, very wealthy people that have said, I don't want a great reset. I want to keep my money. And they formed a, what do you call it, a coup. And
Yeah,
they're pushing back.
yeah.
They're pushing back. And maybe, just maybe, life will be a lot, lot better. But at the end of the day, like I said earlier, it is still very much the case that they are going to put them and their family and their friends first. And they're going to try to benefit their pockets and their companies and create more power and more control and more wealth for themselves first. And then hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, they can convince everyone else to say, yep, we're happy with that situation.
It, it totally makes sense, and I'm guilty. I am so guilty of this. For years and years and years and years and years, I always had so much contempt for the hierarchy, the government, that I didn't even know about. People beyond the government at the time. I always had like, oh God, it's not fair. Da, da, da. All the bullshit stuff, which is very, apt to the situation we are in life half the time. Like how much have I got to pay? How much more tax have I got to pay? Tax for this, tax for that, tax for this. You get a lot of animosity towards. But it has to be said, the only way I could absolutely deal with this, the psychology of it all, was to act. I mean, yeah, Bitcoin helped me understand more about myself and my relationship with that psychological thought process, to make me realize I don't need to be like that. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm never going to be the UK, I nearly said president then, but that's American, isn't it? The UK Prime Minister, being government, okay, if I got off my arse maybe and put a lot of work into it, maybe I could get into local government. Not really what I want to do. But that just made me really, really, really take a deep dive on me and work out lots of shit about me and deal with me, and then just go at some point, okay, they're going to do their thing. Doesn't matter who comes in, who goes out, who comes in, who goes out, what bank does this, what bank does that. What can I do to improve? And I've found that, hopefully, fingers crossed, that the idea behind Bitcoin, we'll see where it goes, has given me that option to actually think, maybe me, my kids, somewhere down the line, we're early enough in here, it's very early, maybe this is something that maybe just gives the peasants an opportunity to do something with. But the more I watch it, and the more I watch it, what's going on out there with the institutions, what's going on at a high level, and their banks might get involved, they're going to get their greedy little fucking hands on it and do whatever, to maybe not give us that opportunity that really Satoshi and the gang had their thoughts for us at this level to do. It's just really, really concerning, and it makes my head boil. It makes me think I really want to try and spread the message as much as I can, and then hope that people will get their heads out their backsides and do some research and really try to understand that we're up against, it's hard. It's bloody hard for us all at this level, but we've got an opportunity to maybe make a difference, not as a vote, but I suppose it is a vote if you vote to use or save your money outside the normal system that we've all been used to. Maybe that is a vote, but I think it's an opportunity that probably I won't see in my lifetime again. And I really want to encourage people to actually learn about, the big wide world a little bit more than, just a little bit of focus that we've got inside of ourselves, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you this.
Go on.
If you were an 18 or a 16 to 22-year-old,
Yep.
and you had no property, you lived with mum and dad, say,
Yep.
and you had an entry-level wage at best, or often no job at all in some places, and that was your situation, do you think you would approach this slightly differently? Do you think you would want more risk? Do you think you would be more susceptible to trying to force it early on?
Well, yeah, this is where it gets back to what I said earlier. I think that, you know, I can only Camel, you know, my youngest boy, he's 22. You know, he's been investing for the last 2.5 years now, getting on for free. Well, it is 3 years actually, but he's got a dad that gives a fuck, and wanted to go down that rabbit hole himself. So yeah, he's used me to a degree, but that's fine. I'm his dad, so I need to step up and share that information at that level with my son. And but I deeply feel for the people that haven't got that. But that is, you know, that it is what it is. You know, this is why I want to try and sort of come, you know, encourage people through the podcast on the channel. So yes, I can only look back at my old 18-year-old self. I was an idiot. I was a prick. But then the system was totally different. Money was just plentiful to a degree. It was easy to earn it. It was easy to spend it. It was easy to just re-earn it if you was, you know, had enough get up and go to get off your ass and go and earn some money. It was pretty plentiful, to be fair, when I was young. It's not quite the same now, I don't believe. But you've still got 16, 17, 18-year-olds out there that are, one, heavily influenced by God knows how much crap and shit on social media, that will want you to, yeah, spend this money on a shit coin, a fart coin, a this coin, a that coin, in the crypto space, because there's more of that than anything else. It's saturated, absolutely saturated. What is there, like, how many altcoins are there on the market now, roughly? Do you know?
I think it depends on where you go to get this information, but it's
roughly.
anywhere between 2.5 and 4 million.
There you go, 2.5 and 4 million. Now, when I got into Bitcoin, there was like 20, 30,000 maybe. That's exploded, absolutely exploded over 3 years, 4 years nearly. So that temptation is massive, and I think possibly, I might be talking out of turn, I can only use my oldest son as an example. Then the betting thing is quite big in the younger generation now, seems to be. So that it's almost that mentality is, yeah, I'll go to work, I've got a good job, I earn some money, fuck it. I don't get a lot of time for leisure time. I'm going to enjoy myself, so I'm going to spend 100 quid a week, a month on betting. So indirectly, in the crypto system, you've got a very similar thing where you don't have to learn too much. There's a lot of hype over, we just use Trump coin as an example. Oh, sod it, it's worth 50 quid. We'll see what happens. Forget it, and then carry on doing their thing. So there's so many distractions. It's so difficult, but it's my job as a father that gives a fuck, to make sure my boys understand the difference. And the only way they can understand the difference is to lead by example. I have to lead by example. I have to, even though, like, I'm banging on 60 years of age, and I'm not blowing my own trumpet, because I know a lot of people that I talk to outside of this, they're all the same. They're all fucking hard workers, and, you know, what I call men's men. It's a horrible thing to say, but people know what I mean. You have to stand up. You have to step up and learn some shit. You really have to learn some shit. And then if you're in a position that you're responsible, and your younger generation in your family want to learn, and you want to give them a heads up, you've got to share that and be a part of it with them. And then all of a sudden, I'm not talking about the people that know me know about how well my young son's done. It works, but I've got to step up. I've got to lead that way. I've got to show that example. Now, my sympathy is where people aren't doing that, or they're not in the position to take advantage of that. Hence, that's why I want to do this channel. I can't be everyone's dad. I know that, but I can definitely try to come across in a legitimate way and try and convince people you can do this shit. You can learn. Don't be sapped in. Enjoy yourself, obviously, as a youngster. But you know, when I was talking, I'm rabbiting now. Stop me from rabbiting. When I was talking to my 28-year-old son, when he was going through, what we're going to do with his investing, I just said to him, I said, mate, just now you need to look down 30 years down the line. Look at when you're 60, 50, 55, 60, 65. Are you capable of working the same frigging hours that you're working at the moment, which is horrendous, I think? Will you be able to do that to achieve what you want to achieve? And he said, no, Dad, I don't want to do that. And I said, well, you need to fucking sort your finances out to make sure you try to get into a position where that isn't going to have a massive effect on one, your social life, two, your body, three, your mental health, and to be able to hopefully support your family, even so, that happens in the future. And then that takes you down, okay, maybe I need to start looking a little bit further than just week to week, month to month, and that's where the conversation goes. And Bitcoin can be a part of that, but Bitcoin's just a bit of an investment. There's loads of things you can do, but I think in today's terms, Bitcoin's an opportunity that we are still allowed at our level of plebness, peasantness, still allowed to get in. So yeah, that's the way I would tackle a 16, 17, 18-year-old, mate. What about you? I'll come to
Tough
the...
one, man.
Sorry.
It's a tough one. It's
It's
a
really
really tough
hard.
one. It's like there's a certain amount of leading by example for sure. There's a certain amount of they're not going to listen and they're going to make mistakes. If they're anything like me, and from what I know of you, I'm sure you've done the same thing.
Oh,
Make a bunch of
100%.
mistakes and then learn from them. And that's got to be a part of it, right? You've got to make the mistakes so you can learn. And if you're smart, you listen to your dad all the time, I guess, assuming he's got the right answers, but maybe he doesn't have the right answers. So yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. I think it's never been harder, for sure. Um, Even just pre 2019-ish, before that last round of 25-ish% inflation the world went through.
Yeah,
Even before that, I think it was a lot easier than it is today.
yeah,
And I think you've got like a demoralized generation that would actually, for the most part, be happy to go and work if
yeah.
they could have a family and put food on the table. I don't think there's as high of a percentage of people here that are destined to be super rich as there are people that are just be more than happy if they could be a bit comfortable. And it's definitely harder than ever to be comfortable. I'm sure of that. Yeah, it's super difficult because, and again, we've evolved into a space where we've got like all these attention span problems with TikTok and whatever the other social media apps are. People's attention span's kind of ruined, and everyone kind of wants things now. They don't want to set a plan and say, well, if I just give myself 7 years, can I become a millionaire? In 7 years, working every day with a well thought out plan, you write down everything that needs to do and work on it. You're probably going to be able to do that relatively easily, believe it or not. But I think so many people waste 3 or 4 years trying to do it all in one day or one weekend, and then they kind of get demoralized, and that time is just wasted, and you can never get it back. So I think, yeah, some of the problem is just where we are with the economy and inflation and everything else, and I think a lot of the problem is also to do with people just seemingly wanting everything immediately. And I'm not entirely sure where that comes from, or perhaps it's always been like that, and I've only just become more observant of it recently, or started to notice it more recently. But, but yeah, I definitely think if you can take a longer term approach to things, you just take the pressure off yourself. You make it, you do the basics right and do it repeatedly, and it's kind of hard to mess up.
Yeah, but we mess it up. We so mess it up. This, I don't know what it is, dude. I don't know whether it's lack of. I don't. It's so difficult because I'm going to bring in this bit of conversation. Like most of the people that have joined this chat are probably all interested in investment, Bitcoin, bits and pieces. Hopefully they are. You are. I know you are. I am definitely. And I still have this. I'm privileged. I'm lucky enough to be able to go out on my job, meet all my customers, all different demographics, mainly at an older age, but I'm still interacting with people of all different ages every day, every day, every day, every day. And my basic observation, other than my YouTube channel, people I've met through YouTube, the gold silver community, which is absolutely fantastic in the UK. Other than that, and my continuous obsessive learning of Bitcoin and money, which is basically not outside of these four walls. It's all via, YouTube videos, learning, bit of reading here and there. When I go out into the real world, no one talks about anything like that. No one talks about money. No one talks. They moan about the government. They moan about they haven't got enough money. They moan about taxes. They moan about working too hard. They moan about everyone around the corner. They moan about the left, the right, the woke, the this, the da 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 da. But hardly anyone has a conversation about how can we improve what we're doing, or is there something really wrong with our economy? Is what is causing these problems that we're seeing? We just moan about it. Now, whether that's a time thing, I don't know whether that's become a social thing, like when we meet up, when we go out socially, or we just want to like trash talk everything. But very rarely does anyone, well, absolutely hardly anybody outside of my social circle on social media and all the people I've met over the last 3 years talk about any investment or anything, really. It's weird. It is so strange. And yet everyone seems to, or the increase of moaning about the state of society has increased, but no one seems, I don't know. I don't know whether people are looking to government or some hierarchy to put it right for them because they've lost that. Well, get your head out your arse. Let's crack on. Let's see if we can work it out for ourselves and crack on that way. I think that's where we are as a society now. And that's only from an observation of what I call the real world when I go out and about.
I mean, there's definitely some easier things as well. I mean, some stuff is quantifiably harder, right? Like the ratio of wages to house prices. Quantifiably, it's harder than ever to use a standard wage to buy a house. But there is also an information access that we have where you can basically learn anything, anywhere about any subject for free online. And you could, if you want to pay a little bit of money, you could maybe speed that process up. But generally speaking, if you've just got a bit of time to invest studying, you can learn anything for free online. And it's also never, I think, been easier to kind of reach people because of things like social media, platforms like this. I mean, there's 143 people in here now
Yeah,
that we can talk to immediately
it's
and get
amazing.
their opinions on things. I don't know if I know 143 people personally, right? So, I mean, my wedding seemed really big, and I think we had 120, and we invited everyone we knew, all the family, all the friends, right? So,
I didn't
I
go.
mean, it's pretty, huh?
I didn't go.
You're right. Okay, yeah.
That old
Next
place.
time,
Sorry.
next time.
Next time.
Yeah. Isn't that what you got to do? You got to wait for him to get a little older and then swap him in for a newer model. Have I got this wrong?
She is so not near you at the moment. You're brave. You're a brave dude.
Yeah, no, she's weak, so if she punches me, it won't hurt.
Yeah, sorry.
I've lost my train of thought now because I'm being silly. Yeah, the point is, it's easy to reach people, easier than ever. Let's say it's easier than ever. Yeah, wife-changing gains. Yeah, and now she's coming. Oh no, I'm in trouble. Don't hit me. I'm on live stream.
Yeah, hit him.
Thank you.
Hit him. Oh.
Anyway, yeah, like I was saying, I think it is easier to reach people. It's easier to build an audience than ever.
Yeah.
And I think we can see the sort of mainstream is kind of upset about that because we're going after people and trying to do some censorship stuff. And some of the largest podcasts in the world or YouTube channels have got like 10 plus fold the reach of some of the mainstream media
Yeah.
reach, right? So that's definitely, I think, a plus. That definitely makes it easier. Like I said earlier, you can learn practically anything for free, which is also nice. But again, as I said right at the start, there are also some quantifiable ways to point at, inflation, houses, interest rates. It has never been harder in most places. So,
Tough, man.
but maybe we do just moan too much, right? Maybe that's what it is. Do we need to moan as much as we do? Does moaning achieve anything? Or is
No,
moaning just something that's fun to do over a pint in the virtual pub?
100% it is. It's really good. It's great to have a moan and a rant and a whatever, but I quite often now, think to myself, my God, yeah, that was really cool. Got that off my chest. But really deep down, there's a symptom that repeats itself sometimes. And now I think, okay, that's not. Why does it keep repeating itself? Is there anything I can do about it? Then I have a really good deep dive on it. And I think, is there anything I can do? Can I improve it? Should I be backing off of this? Should I not be backing off of it? Is it wise to back off it? What kind of example am I showing to my children by backing off or not keep soldering up? All those sort of things. So it's good to have a moan, but I don't know. I think sometimes we can possibly stop the moaning as much and try to put some positive stuff into it. I don't know, it's a tough one. It's so hard, dude. It was so hard.
Fred makes a good point here. It's moaning without action that's the issue,
Yeah,
isn't it? You can moan if you want, but you got to do something about it.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to say. If it's a repetitive thing that you keep moaning about, then you ain't moving forward, are you? You're not dealing with it. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Very interesting, dude. What I wanted to do is, because we've banged on for. Is there anything else you want to get off your chest? Re Bitcoin shitcoins.
No, I don't. I don't think so.
No.
Not at this moment in time.
Okay, I'm going to ask the people in the chat because I've ignored it. But that was, me and Camel like to have a bit of a rant every now and then. I was going to ask people, if you want to come on, you're more than welcome to come on. I'm going to put the Zoom contact details in my post on my YouTube channel. So if you pop into posts or community tab on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, the W.O.T podcast, if you want to come on and join in the conversation, you're very welcome for the next hour, but you don't have to. But while I do that, mate, do you want to just quickly run through the chat and see if there's anything? Say hello to some people.
Did you say run through the chat?
Yeah, just have a look through the chat and just see if there's anything that anyone said.
If you take action and nothing happens, you'll always have moaning rights. Yep, fair enough. Australia's in the house.
Yay!
That's awesome. Some people are asking when Discord is coming, and I've got something similar. I'm doing my best. It is coming, I promise. Yeah. I think we just need some good vibes, right? We just need to point at Trump coin and all the other ones, and the fact they're going to release an NFT potentially on that Trump coin, and yeah, it will just be a laugh, right? We'll just try and enjoy it, and as long as we can get out somewhere near the top, then happy days, really.
I find that interesting. Why do you want to get out of the top, dude?
Because I don't want to hold a asset that's going to potentially crash anywhere between 50 and 90%.
Well, that's fair enough.
The only real goal is to buy more Bitcoin back at the 4-year cycle low. So, because a lot of people say you never sell Bitcoin, but that's fine. But if it does drop 80% and you can miss the top by 20 and miss the bottom by 20, you can 3 or 4 extra stack. Conservatively 2 to 3 extra stack after you pay taxes, assuming you pay a lot of tax.
Yeah. And I think
to me, that sounds like a nice way of doing it.
It sounds absolutely brilliant. But I was sitting thinking about that the other day, and I'm just going to let everyone know. I've just put in my community post the Zoom meeting call and the passcode. So if you got Zoom, you want to come on, have a chat, say hello to Camel, say hello to me, or join in the conversation, you're more than welcome. You'll just appear on my screen, which is really cool. But yeah, I know most of the members that come on to the one on Sunday know how that works. But yeah, I've opened it up to anybody, so I can only have 49 people on here, but just bear that in mind. And I just want to say thank you, one to Camel, for shouting out to his Camel crew, because my numbers have gone up today absolutely brilliantly. So I really appreciate that. We're really banging on to that 1,000, which is going to make a big difference to what I'm trying to achieve on the channel. And we've got some new members, which is fantastic to have, because that really helps and support what I'm doing. So thank you very much. What was I talking about?
Opening up the chat, weren't you?
Yeah, before that.
Thanking people?
Before that. Today.
I don't know.
Oh, well, that's gone as well.
Why am I selling Bitcoin? Why do I want to sell it?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Yes. Makes absolutely sense what you're doing. But then you do have to work out that for some people, possibly doing that may in turn a bigger tax implication. Well, obviously it maybe incorporate a tax implication. We've got to pay our taxes, which is cool. And then you just got to make sure that whatever percentage it comes down to when you get back in, you've actually improved on what you've done. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's not for everyone. Some
No,
people don't.
no. I was just putting it out there, just in case people think, oh, I need to get out the top. But they're pulling out 10 grand, get taxed on it, and then it drops 50, 60, 70%, and then they get back in and they think, oh shit, I haven't got more Bitcoin. That's the only reason why I said it.
Sorry, I was muted. I know a lot of people really don't want to sell, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because timing tops and bottoms is not a skill that is super easy, right? You can easily get it wrong, and a lot of people would feel worse with themselves if they got it wrong and then sat and watched it go a lot higher. They'd be like, "Oh no, I ruined my opportunity." It's a totally individual thing, right? I want to take some profit because if it's going to go up as high as I think it's going to go, I'm going to be quite overexposed to it. You know, from 15K to 150, that's 10 times the value. So, and what if it goes to 300K? You know, that's going to be, for me personally, some people might want to be 99% in Bitcoin. That's nothing wrong with that. Sailor seems to. But for me, once it gets to a certain threshold, I'm starting to think, well, actually, I think I'd rather have a bit of cash and a bit of dollars and a bit of gold and whatever, and businesses that generate cash flow. Like, there's lots you can do with money. And not everyone wants that. Some people might want a rental property. Some people might want to hold it forever. Some people might just want to, put it on a cold wallet and leave it to their grandchildren or their great grandchildren in the hope that it will one day be worth millions and millions and millions. But so there's nothing wrong with it. But for me, once we get up to anywhere above 150K, I'm going to be thinking, any kind of breakdown for me. And I want to take some off. I want to pay myself. It's no good having all this paper wealth, right? Like at some point I have to feed my family and keep my wife happy and, heat the house or whatever else. So yeah, man, I'm going to take some profit, but there's nothing wrong with people that don't want to do that. And I know a lot of people don't like the idea of swapping, I've been very vocal about swapping Bitcoin to gold. And for me, some of that is I just don't trust banks.
Yeah.
So I don't really feel comfortable if one Bitcoin was 300K and I hypothetically had one Bitcoin. I don't really feel comfortable putting 300K in a bank.
Yeah.
I would much rather duck out, buy a few things and hold some gold. And I would rather take the risk that gold crashes 30% and I hold on to it for a bit than the bank won't give me my money.
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
So it's to each their own. It's totally to each their own.
Yeah, I'm getting worried about Coinbase the way they're going, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. That's the thing. These things happen out of nowhere. No one ever thinks they're going to happen until it's too late.
Yeah.
And I just think, everyone's got to do what's right for them. For me, it feels kind of hard when Bitcoin, if it potentially can get to 100 ounces per Bitcoin, it feels kind of hard for me to think, well, that ratio is not cooked. Time to do some rotation for a little while.
Yeah,
And then if Bitcoin bottoms into a 4-year cycle low, I can always rotate it back, right? It's not like I necessarily have to hold all of that.
absolutely.
So yeah,
We
it's
have
Christian
someone.
here.
We have
Welcome to
someone.
Christian.
Yeah, we have someone join Christian.
Yeah,
How,
hey guys,
oh, thanks for popping in.
it's an honor.
Sorry, you go. Can you speak up a bit?
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yes.
Yeah, I'm saying it's an honor.
Oh, you're saying what? Sorry.
It's an honor.
Oh, it's an honour. Sorry. Oh, you have to forgive this crazy old git. I have to listen carefully sometimes, even though I've got headphones on. No, that's really cool, mate. Thank you very much. This is what I love. It's giving people the opportunity to come on, talk in a safe space. If you've seen any of my um, virtual dinner pub chats that we have on a Sunday, it's the same thing. So, but I wanted to try and do like this Bitcoin thing, especially in the UK, because it seems to be a little bit under the hub in the UK. So it's so cool for people to come on. It is so cool, so cool. So Christian, what brings you? What you? What do you want to? Do you want to say anything? Or you just want to listen, or if you want to take part, no pressure. Say what you like.
Uh, well, for now, no, I'm just here to get knowledge and wisdom for you and overall to have a good time.
Cool, cool. That's what it's all about. Um, so Camel, getting back to that. What do you? I give a Coinbase. What do you think of Coinbase? Gut feeling.
Tough one. On on the one hand, it's done more for the space than most
Yeah.
other exchanges. Hard to deny that. On the other hand, it's a little bit too pro altcoin for me. It's a little bit too interconnected with some higher up type companies and families for my liking. I don't like that anyone that's been here for a while knows it has a very consistent track record of going offline right when people need it the most, whether that is to buy a major dip or sell a major top. They seem to have an idea or a game plan where they switch off the buy and sell button right at the perfect time and then say, well, it went down for issues. I absolutely believe that is deliberate. It's just happened too many times during large volatile moments. I've seen it too many times to think that's coincidence. I don't like how during the IPO craze, they launched a whole heap of coins. And if you watch the chart, they just pump for a few days and then go all the way to zero practically and never come back. And I'm sure they made a lot of money doing that. I don't like some of the more recent shady stuff where they could kind of settle the Bitcoin off chain with BlackRock and the ETFs
Yeah.
and then kind of report it after the fact.
Yeah.
But with all that said, it's still there. It's still a great on ramp for new people. It seems to be the number one. It seems to be the exchange you go to first before you find yourself in a situation where you go, I don't want to pay all these charges and fees, right? So, and innocent until proven guilty at the same time. I think.
Yeah. That's
Because so far it's still there and it hasn't really been caught doing anything too nefarious. It hasn't collapsed. It hasn't stolen customers' funds just yet. So it's still there, right? You can choose to use it or not.
we've been joined by Traveller Jim with the most incredibly great beard. That has to be said. Cheers, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers. Just wanted to say hello and thank you to both you guys. And thanks, Uncle Camel. American. I live in Belgrade, Serbia with my wife and kids. Working class guy. Sold our home, started taking charge of our finances, and I exclusively trade the gold Bitcoin pair. And so when I found Camel, I finally felt like I wasn't the only person in the universe.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that.
Dude, you got another fan. That's cool. One of many. This is great. This is such a great opportunity that I'm really pleased that we can do, because I know I've been getting into trying to work out how Twitter Spaces works. And it's a similar type of concept to what I'm trying to do here on YouTube. But I kind of like this thing on YouTube better because I just find it just a little bit more interactory. And if people want to show themselves, they can. If they don't want to, they don't have to. It's a little bit more, a freer space. But now I've seen this guy's beard, I'm so jealous. I could never grow a beard like that.
Yeah, me either.
So, Traveller
I'll
Jim.
sign off. I'll sign off. I don't want to hug the show.
Oh, dude,
but-
you don't. No, you don't have to. Go on. Just tell us a little bit about your story. You're obviously into Bitcoin, I presume.
Yes, I got into crypto last cycle during the COVID lockdown. I was a professional soldier most of my life, then
Wow.
became an entrepreneur,
Wow.
had small kids, moved to the woods in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We built a cabin, grew our own food, did everything ourselves.
Nice.
COVID lockdown didn't affect us at all. But everybody from the big city came and my property 3x'd. And so I stepped off and sold. And we started traveling. We've spent time in Georgia, Turkey, Hungary. Now we're in Serbia currently. We'll be in Azerbaijan later, maybe Kazakhstan and Korea. And I rolled all that money into Bitcoin, not at the bottom where I would like to have entered, but I'm safe. And I love gold. I love silver. I love platinum. I don't trade big contracts. I don't trust banks either. So I take physical possession, or now I'll vault storage in Singapore or something, but through GVS or storage out of Europe. Yeah, my intent is to hand my kids opportunities for the future that I had to work really hard to try to get. And I think if I can just stay, I mean, you can't just go into one asset class and never move your money. You have to stay ahead of the game, but sometimes less is more. And trading on the macro, from the macro point of view, instead of looking at 15-minute, I laugh when Camel says everybody's looking at a 5-minute chart, staring at their screen. It's funny because I've done it. I've traded alts. I've swing traded. I racked up a huge tax bill. I look at the big picture. I really try to control my emotion. And earlier when you said that you really spend a lot of time educating yourself, I think that's the number one point that is just underemphasized everywhere. You have to educate yourself, and you can never stop learning. And it's okay to be wrong. It's just not okay to not learn from that. So education, emotional control, and asymmetric bets, and I don't know, a shitload of luck.
This is a proper Bitcoiner. I love this.
It is. It's really funny. I was thinking about this educational thing because my wife always gives me loads of jip, quite rightly so. She goes, "Oh, what are you watching now? What are you doing now? What are you doing this? What are you doing that?" And over the years, it's kind of nice now because she sees the bottom line figures now, and she going, "Keep doing that. Keep doing this. Keep doing that," which always makes me laugh. But I worked out that probably on average over the last 3 years, I've done 3 to 4 hours a day watching, studying, learning, making mistakes, all the stuff, which then you calculate that. Let me do it on my very manky. Cam always takes the piss because I've still got an old type calculator and I don't use my phone. But just for argument's sake, that's 3 hours times 365 times 3. So that's like 3,285 hours, and I'm still learning. Hello, Mrs. that's an immense amount of hours, and I'm still going. I've still made mistakes, and I'm still going to make mistakes. But it's and that's just not on learning all about the cult of Bitcoin. That's learning about money. That's learning about me. That's learning about my association with money. It's learning about all the different rabbit holes that I'm continually going down, and it's an ongoing process. So I'm trying to prove to my children and you know, it's very easy for all of us to turn and say this is what you need to do, but unless you actually experience it and you're around people that are really annoying talking about it all the time, a lot of it is just down to trust. But boy, you do have to put the time in. Christian showed himself as well. Cool. My God, he's got a nice beard.
I'll sign up. I'll watch on YouTube. I'll see you guys.
Oh, right. Okay. Thanks for coming
Save
in.
room for
Anyway.
everybody
Bye.
else.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate your time, brother.
Yeah, really appreciate
Cheers.
it.
Yeah. Follow me on Twitter, Traveler Jeff.
Traveler
Will do.
Jeff, yeah?
Yeah, Traveler_Jeff on Twitter. A lot of geopolitics and travel.
Okay. Thank you very much. You're more
And
than welcome.
I'll be traveling I'll be doing the Silk Road with my family maybe this fall. We'll be going from Istanbul to Xi'an, China on the Silk Road through
Oh my
Kazakhstan,
God.
Uzbekistan, on the Caspian and everything.
Oh, stay in touch though, whenever you can.
Cheers.
That'd be really cool because I'd love to know your journey.
Cool, fellas. Yeah, cheers.
Oh, thanks
Awesome.
for coming on,
You're
dude.
followed as well. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
On X. Keep calling it Twitter. Christian, we can see you now. Can we hear you?
Yes, does my mic sound good?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, just need to
Oh.
unfortunately talk up a little bit sometimes. It is amazing getting back, Camel. I mean, how many hours do we have to bloody put into this stuff, you know?
I think it takes close to 100. Maybe I'm dumb and slow. But I think it takes about 100 to understand it. I don't know how many. I'd be curious to know how many you guys think.
Sorry. Even what's the definition of understand it? Camel?
By a 100% allocation to it, right?
Oh God. Right.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, that's pretty true though.
Enough to a point where you can buy it, you can hold it, and you know what you hold, and it's stored correctly, and you can verify it, and you can use it. And when the 15-minute candle shakes up and down, you don't feel compelled to go and throw your toys out of the pram, right? You know, comfortable enough to say, I know what I hold, I'm proud of what I hold, I'm happy with whatever the allocation which is suitable for me is, and I know how to use this thing to better my life and take some money outside of the system.
Yeah, what do you reckon, Christian? Got any thoughts on that?
Well, from what I see, you really have to put consistently. It's not just about a lot of hours a day, but just to stay consistent and um, not surrender. Like every day, put a minimal amount of time and yeah, keep going. And like you said, you two are veterans, but still you have much more to learn.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, for me personally, this is an interesting one for me personally because I could quite easily I'm pretty convinced of my conviction on Bitcoin. Pretty convinced now. Enough to think I could just hang my boots up and think, yeah, I've done the right thing. I'm going to ride the wave, whatever I need to do to ride the wave, and I've made the right choices. But I'm still drawn to learning about the space and people within it, which I find fascinating. And the reason why I'm drawn to that is because I've always had this fascination of or calling to be able to not just shut off from anything, but just try and help people understand and produce their or open their minds to produce better opportunity for themselves. So I kind of can't really get myself away from it overly. I've got a choice, obviously, but I can't, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I think you're like that, Camel, a bit, aren't you?
Every day's a school day for sure. And I don't know. I think I've been in this space long enough that I'm okay now. I was just actually thinking as you were talking that I saw a comment on one of my YouTube videos this week from somebody saying that they panic sold their entire stack. And I forget the numbers, but I won't be far off with this guess. It was somebody said, "Oh, I panic sold 0.87 Bitcoin and then had to panic buy it back." And they lost 5 or 6 grand or something in a heartbeat because of a silly decision. And then people were sort of saying, yeah, well, that plus you probably generated a capital gains taxable event. So it's the real numbers more than that. And it was kind of nice to see people sort of speaking to them about it and offering some ideas and blah, blah, blah. But that is exactly what I meant when I said it takes about 100 hours to understand it. I think you could only really, I mean, we all get emotional, we all make mistakes, fine. But I think if you truly understand what you hold, you truly understand that stuff like that is going to happen from time to time in terms of the volatility and shakeouts and whatever, then, once you understand it, it makes it a lot easier to say, well, I am now unshakable. Obviously, you can have an invalidation, a level where you say, okay, it looks like it's going to zero. I'm going to lock in some games, whatever. But yeah, I think for me, that took a long time. It took a long time because I remember reading the white paper and I was like, oh, that's how Bitcoin works. Whatever. I had to do some studying. I didn't understand everything in it. But it didn't take very long to understand how it works and what it does. But it took a very long time for me to figure out exactly why. Why does it exist in the first place? Why do I feel there's a requirement for it? What are the benefits of it versus other asset classes? And then we finally get to the 2019 pandemic era and we see an insane amount of quantitative easing and printing. And we found ourselves in a situation where all the Bitcoiners finally got to go, ha, I told you so. This is exactly why, right? This is the moment. We just got validated in our whole idea. And kind of, I think that put it on stage for the world to go, okay, now we've just validated the why. It's no longer speculation anymore that we might eventually debase the currency. It's like all of a sudden they really did debase the currency. So yeah, I think it takes a long time. And I still think it's important to brush up on your skills. I still think it's important to shuffle your wallets around from time to time. I still think it's important to keep learning and have protocol. I think something people overlook a lot is not having protocol. Like, for example, if you drop dead, God forbid today, can your wife and family retrieve your Bitcoin?
Yeah.
If somebody boots the door down and sweeps the house, can they get hold of it? Or is your seed phrase written in paper, not locked away, right on top of the wallet with the PIN number for the Trezor or whatever the cold wallet device is, right? Is it all just right there so that someone can just pick it up and take your Bitcoin or whatever? If you have to flee the country, can you take your Bitcoin with you, right? And can family members retrieve it? So I think if there's a house fire or flood, do you lose your Bitcoin? I think these are the kind of things that people overlook a little bit, as well as just how to use it and shuffle it around and how to hold it, right? To understand what you actually hold. Because once you hold it, you can tell how many people that hold it understand it, because about 70% of the supply is held by long-term holders.
Yeah.
You're going to have to pry that from their cold, dead fingers. There's no way you're getting it, right? Unless we get to $1 million a coin, and then suddenly they become incentivized to start buying other things with it. Suddenly they feel they can't spend it, right? And then probably you'll see some of that supply come loose. But yeah, I think that took me like a good 100 hours before I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm happy with what I got, and you can never shake it from me. And I'm convinced that no matter whether it's a government entity or a bad actor, like, you can't get to it. If I drop dead, there's protocols in place so that the people I want to have it can get to it. I think all those bases need to be covered, and that just takes a long time, right? It's a lot to think about, and that's not even getting into like the why of it, because it's the why we need it. Like I was talking about earlier with the fiat debasement and inflation and that kind of thing, non-confiscatable, immutable, censorship resistant. All of this stuff is really important, but all of it takes hours to truly understand what you're holding and why you're holding it, right? Again, maybe I'm dumb, maybe I'm slow. Maybe normal people can do it in 10 or 12 hours, but I really do believe it's going to take about 100 before you can get to the point where you can say, yeah, I'm good. I know what I hold and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, it's just an ongoing thing. Do you think Bitcoin has got a problem more in the UK than it has anywhere else in the world?
Do I think what's got a sorry,
Bitcoin,
what sort of problem?
Getting into Bitcoin for people in the UK is more of a problem than, say, America.
I think
from a psychological point of view, from a mental point of view, from a I don't know cultural point of view, whatever.
I'm just about to Google it because I can't remember, but I'm pretty confident that the UK is one of the highest adoption rates of cryptocurrency. I'm pretty sure that many people in the UK at least have a wallet with something in it, whether it's
Wow.
Bitcoin or a meme coin or whether they're sat down 99%. But I'm pretty sure that metric in and of itself kind of speaks to the fact. I mean, according to this, that was printed, let's just spat this out of Google. About 12% of all UK adults now hold crypto. So that's a lot higher than a lot of other places around the world.
Bloody hell, yeah. That surprised me, actually.
There's obviously places like Nigeria and stuff that have 40, 50% penetration. I think the Isle of Man does as well, which is like really weird. You wouldn't expect it.
It's the boys'
But
club.
yeah.
Something to do
yeah,
with tax-free, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I know plenty of people that have sort of got Coinbase, bought something, held it, whatever. They're just waiting. One day, if it goes up, they'll cash it out, and if it doesn't, whatever.
And
So I don't think it's that hard. Although, it's got to be said, recently, I know the exchanges have made it harder to on-ramp fiat from a bank in and out, and they make you answer quizzes now, don't they? Competency quizzes. You have to tick a box to say whether you are worth a certain amount. Like you have to either qualify yourself as a high net worth individual and then prove that you've got income that exceeds whatever the threshold is and show where you've got your money from, or you have to tick another box that says I am not a high net worth individual, and I promise not to invest more than 10%. And if you tick the box that says I will invest more than 10%, they refuse you to go and buy crypto. So that's pretty new, right? That's very, very new.
yeah, the KYC is like incredibly. It's amazing. And lately, I think from last weekend, if you want to take, I use Coinbase as an example. If you want to take your money off of and put it into cold storage, you can't. You now have to send a small percentage of what they ask for from your Coinbase wallet address to your Coinbase wallet address for them to then verify that that's real, and then they will allow you to take your money off of the exchange. And that
Yeah.
started Sunday, just last week. And I sat there and I thought, oh my God. And it's all to do with the UK whatever.
So much for being a hub for crypto, eh?
Mate, it's getting worse. It's Christian wants to say something. But yeah, it is getting worse. It's absolutely getting worse. And that's what starts to make me. I just had this. I mean, there was some, from my point of view, there was some user error. I wasn't quite understanding what I was reading, and I soon got it sorted. But I just want more information, more information, more information. But yeah, Christian, sorry mate, you put your hand up, dude.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question for you, and it's the following. What do you think about the idea that the majority of your gains in the, let's say, specifically in the crypto market, are made in just a couple of weeks or just a small amount of time regarding, next to the whole market? I mean, let's say we were ranging for 8 months in the crypto market now, and let's say Bitcoin was ranging 8 months, and after that it went to 100K just in 4 weeks. What do you think about that idea that it is important to be invested in the market so you don't miss the gains when they happen?
It's a great question. I think it all comes down to what you want to get out of it, right? There'll be people that fall into the category that say they won't even sell. They'll watch it explode. They'll probably have life-changing money sat in front of them, and they still won't do anything about it. There will be people that will sell early. I probably would assume I would be taking some off on the way. It seems kind of delusional for me to say, yeah, I'll just hold the whole thing, not take any profit on the way up. That's not really how it works, right? There will be trend line fake outs and failed, fake fake breakdowns on the way up. So there will have to be some times where I say, well, I got to manage some risk and take some off here. There will be other people that may want to consider borrowing against it. I don't really think that's a smart idea to borrow against it at the top. I think you're probably better off borrowing against it at the bottoms. Yeah, I think it really depends. And some people, Bitcoin is many things to many people. Some people maybe have a small amount invested and they just want to make a little bit more so that they can put it down as a deposit on a house. Other people maybe have a little bit more Bitcoin and they're a bit older and they think, oh, this can supplement my pension and allow me to live a bit more comfortable. Other people might think that they can pay their mortgage off and then have their monthly outgoings reduced significantly. And so there's no real right answer here, right? Like it depends on what your circumstances are. It depends on what you want to get out of it. And it depends how much sleep you will lose at night if you're wrong. So if it goes to 150K and you take some off and then it rips to 400K, will you be really disappointed with yourself? And if the answer is yes, then maybe hold, right? Maybe you're more of a never sell kind of guy, or maybe you're more of a I'm going to aim higher than 150K kind of guy. But if the whole goal was to hopefully get to 150K and then buy a house, and you get to 150K and you can buy a house, well, then mission accomplished, right? Not everyone has to hold Bitcoin forever and just allow this thing to reach the millions of coins, right? And we can always buy it back. You can always DCA in and out, and you don't always have to have an extreme allocation. You can have a smaller or a larger, depending on how you're feeling at the time and what your circumstances are. So I think it would be really tough to say for sure. But for me, I would imagine I would just stick to my trading system, and I'm sure it will throw some fake outs, and I will do my standard risk management on the way up. And hopefully we can stay in it for as long as possible until eventually the trend breaks down at the top. And then we can say, okay, that looks like it's pretty cooked, and we'll get out of the way of it.
Thank you. You, Hector, do you have an opinion?
Oh, sorry. Oh, you've actually just worked out my name. My
Why are
name's
you Hector?
Oh God, you know I was putting my name in.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was putting my name in, and for some reason, dude, and a lot of people might not recognise this, I just thought of Hector's House that I used to watch when I was a kid. So I just thought it'd be really funny if I put my name as Hector, because everyone knows my name's Andy. And Christians just called me Hector, and I'm thinking, why's he called me Hector? I sound like some sort of Mexican drug cartel person. So funny. Campbell, I bet you're laughing your head off, aren't you?
Hey, essay. Want to buy some Bitcoin, Holmes?
Swap you for some white powder. No, I mustn't say that. Okay, Christian, my views are this is only my fourth year, coming into my fourth year of this Bitcoin. So when I went into it, I from my educational processes, I got in the bear market, which was quite a difficult thing to do. But me and my youngest boy were quite convicted. We believed the protocol, and for some reason we believed, it's a long story, but it felt right to think, yes, this is a pretty good investment to see where it goes. And then we go all through the bear market. We've been DCAing ever since. And for us, my youngest boy's got a very different outlook. He's only 22. He's not planning on doing anything with it for the next 30 years. He invests in other things as well, which are doing okay. So from his point of view, he will just ride it out. It will just ride it out just because he believes in what it's going to stand for in 30 years' time. Hopefully. But it seems like it's working out for me. I'm slightly, I'm a lot older, and this was just something that I wanted to take control of my own investment circumstances. And again, I believed in what I wanted to do. I'm not a trader. I want to invest in it. That said, I've witnessed very good returns since I've got in, but I haven't witnessed an awe-inspiring go to the moon type scenario. So that's going to be really interesting for me. I think I spoke to Camel about this before. It's going to be interesting for me to actually look at number go up, try not to get. I mean, we're all affected by our currencies that we use. So that's going to be interesting for me. But yeah, I've got to just see what happens. Keep on learning, and yeah, just see what happens and cross that avenue if and when it happens. If we're going to have this crazy set of circumstances where the world decides that Bitcoin's the thing, then we all know that the possibility, if you've done your homework, we all know what the possibility of that can mean. Um, so, if you're holding some, then that's going to have a considerable effect on that. If you're really, like Camel said, if you've got an outlet and you think, okay, this can really improve my life, you can take, we've got to pay taxes. If that all works out and you've worked it all out, then you got to do your thing. You've got to do your thing, but you've got to let it be in there to witness those times when it does go through the roof. We could have 10 weeks, 10 days, all of a sudden just wake up one morning and think, oh shit, what the hell's gone on? And that does work both ways, of course. So yeah, this is what I love about it. I love it because it's a real test of your resolve in what you're doing. And yeah, that gets back to what I was talking about earlier. It just tests you all the time. And we have a new member. Thank you very much, Sulkin. Cheers, guys. So yeah, does that help, Christian? It's probably not the definitive answer that maybe you was looking for, but
No, it was a great answer.
yeah, I think
Thank
most
you.
of the time when me and Camel talk or whenever I'm listening, this is such an individual process. It's crazy. I mean, for me, part of my journey, not shoving how well I will do actually. Just finding Camel's channel when I did so long ago taught me so much about Bitcoin. But it wasn't just his channel, but it was an important part of my journey. And it's so important to find something, someone. It doesn't matter if you 100% agree with what they're doing. It doesn't matter if you're not doing what they're doing. There's an incredible amount of information that, as time goes along, starts to fit into your narrative that you're building as you're going on the journey, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'll always be thankful to him for that. That's for sure. 100%. 100%. I'm not going to say any more nice stuff about him.
You're all too kind. You're all too kind. Just a weird camel.
Hector.
Weird crack smoking autistic camel.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, the UK bit. That's interesting what you said about that. That's quite a high percentage, isn't it? Was that just crypto or was that Bitcoin when you put it in?
No, I think that's just crypto.
Okay. It'd be interesting to know how many people are actually into Bitcoin in the UK or hold Bitcoin, but then that's a difficult bit of information to try and find out from somewhere, isn't it? Do you ever get deep involved in the whole energy side of it and all that, Camel, at all? The energy debate around it and all the other bits and pieces other than the number?
Not especially. I like to see the hash rate going up. I like to see that they can find new ways to use that energy, like capturing flared gas and stabilizing power grids and heating greenhouses. I've even seen some full insane setups where you've got like a greenhouse and you use the mining rig to heat it, and then you can have solar panels as well that contribute to the power, and then you have the plants growing hydroponically and like tilapia farms so that the fish can grow to be farmed and their waste fertilizes the plants. And there's some like very innovative stuff like that going on. So I keep an eye on that, a little eye, but it's not something that massively interests me, if I'm being honest.
No, it's not me either. I did go down that little avenue of trying to understand it a little bit, but the whole mining aspect, I understand the principles of mining, but it's no. I think for me personally, there's more of it, more the finance side of it interests me. I would like
One of the members is a miner.
Oh,
I know
really?
that. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'd just like to mention the Selkin. Is it? Am I getting that right? The Selkin. It's just.
Yeah, but yeah, Falcon, how's my audio?
Sorry.
We can hear.
How's my audio? Okay, great.
Absolutely fine. Looks like you're sitting in your car and you're cold.
Yeah, I had to join when camera is on.
Thank you very much for popping in, dude.
Yeah, I've gone down the mining route myself also. I've been like looking into maybe like heating it with doing some kind of like induction, just heating the thing. I live in Sweden, so it's kind of cold up here. It's like
Very nice,
heating.
a nice part of the world there.
I got a question for Camel. Like your gold trading pair, are you gonna like do you trade like paper gold or are you going with the physical?
I think I want physical, and I think I want to sell the Bitcoin, hold cash for a short amount of time, pay some tax, and then start to allocate it to dollars, dollar proxies, and precious metals. I think that's how I want to do it. You could hold ETFs. I don't think the ETFs will carry too much risk, but I might use a blend. I might have some of each. But yeah, I would imagine. I mean, you can quite a lot of gold fits in a shoebox. Like quite a lot of you can fit quite a lot of money in a shoebox, and then if you don't tell anyone where it is, and it's not anywhere near your primary form of residence, then you can't really go wrong with it, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's going to be my strategy.
yeah. I'm going with like Bitcoin ETFs. Some like physical. I got like yeah real Bitcoins, but um, my dad is kind of into gold, but I managed to get him into some Bitcoin. But I'm giving him some shit for like buying physical gold. It depends kind of by the broker. If you have to like pay 10% just to uh, the difference,
Yeah,
the arbitrage.
there's trade-offs with everything, right? Like
Yeah,
in the UK, certain types of coins are capital gains tax-free in gold, but you pay a higher premium versus bars. You can store them in vaults, but then you have to pay the vault guys money for storing it, and there's counterparty risk there. Obviously, there's ETFs, miners, that kind of thing. So there's lots of different ways to do it. But I really think gold might have close to a 5 to 7x in it. I really think it could probably hit somewhere around 15 or 20K. So I'm just very excited. I'm just very, very excited that I don't think people realize how bullish it is. I think most people's predictions on gold are gonna end up being too conservative. But I could be wrong, of course. Of course, I could be wrong. But for me, I think if we can exit some Bitcoin, hold some gold, and kind of forget about it, I think it will be kind of hard to screw up your future if you can just hold on to it for 5 to 10 years. I think it would be a nice way of securing a significantly less volatile asset than Bitcoin. Bitcoin, if you're going to hold it for 10 years, you'll probably do okay, I think. But it's going to swing and it's going to be gut wrenching. And you imagine if it continues to draw down 50 to 80%, well, what about from $1 million? $1 million a coin, 50% drawdown, 80% drawdown. People aren't going to be able to stomach that. It's going to be rough. So for me, I just like to smooth some of that volatility out with gold. But yeah, we'll see, right? Maybe the setup won't play and I won't end up actually being able to pull it off. But I kind of think if we can get to around 80 to 100 ounces per Bitcoin, then for me, that's a very attractive ratio.
well, I got in during it's kind of like 4 years now on the mark with the I think like January 7th or 8th. Once it was clear Biden was being inaugurated, I was like, oh shit, they're gonna start printing money like heck. I've been looking into Bitcoin for like half a year earlier. Like got kind of FOMO. But I gotta buy something, so I got in like at 30K. Uh, yeah, earned kind of my spurs during like the bull run. Got hurt, burnt a bit, but I was like hoping it was gonna go a little bit higher, but it didn't manage. But I had like if it I had like a plan, like if it drops 75% or more, then I'm like all in. So like around 20K, I managed to. I called the bank like I need to do like renovations and stuff like that. So I need to. I had like kind of good. I wanted that borrowed on the apartment. So like yeah, I'm not, my only biggest regret is that I didn't borrow more.
Yeah.
So I managed to like get in under 20K, and yeah. But I'm hoping like I got a plan on like taking some profits and moving into like US dollar with obligations and stuff like that.
Well, this should be the year. This should be the year we sit atop. The big problem
Yeah.
for me is it months away or weeks away, or is it going to run all the way into September, October, maybe even slightly later? But I'm sure we'll
Yeah.
get it there. We'll just have to keep taking it one day at a time.
Well, I had like a plan on the exit strategy around like 90K, but too early to do it like 2 weeks into the bull run. It's like, oh, I gotta wait.
It's such a tough thing psychologically, isn't it? To work out when do I get out. I think it begins with a why do I get out? Why do I want to get out? Um, it yeah, it brings about so many questions, and I think I said on one of my podcasts, one thing I got out of MicroStrategy early on in the year. I don't know if anyone knows or heard me say that, but it was one of the best things I ever done. But hindsight, it was probably the worst thing I ever did. The best thing was I actually experienced being able to pull quite a major profit for me for once, and that was categorically a massive psychological thing that one I will never forget ever because it made me feel really good. The after effects, yeah, if I hung on to it, obviously, we all know what's going to happen. But if I hadn't have done it and it had somehow gone the other way, because none of us have got a crystal ball, then I would have regretted it forever. So the nice thing for me personally is that I've experienced actually getting out in some pretty good profit. So, and that felt good. So if I get that opportunity again, it will help me make that decision a lot easier going forward. So again, it was a great experience, and I think we've just got to, learn these experiences and try things and not beat ourselves up if we go into hindsight and think, oh God, I should have left it there. I could have made more money, or equally, you could have made less money. But the important thing is, if you have a plan, execute it, and make sure it makes you feel good because you sleep well at night. You get a nice buzz as well, for sure. And we have someone else join, Phil. Welcome.
I'm really sorry. I'm going to have to hop off soon.
Yeah, I know, mate. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up very shortly anyway. I'll probably give it to the 2 hour mark and then wrap it up. So we've got 45 minutes and Phil's gone. Oh, maybe he wanted to talk to you. Camel. So
I'll
yeah,
I'll hang around for a few minutes just in case he comes back.
yeah, no worries, dude. So yeah, that was an amazing thing to experience, and we spoke about that, didn't we, Camel, on one of our pods. So
Yeah,
that's good. That's really good. I've really enjoyed tonight, mate. Thank you.
it's been good, isn't it? It's nice to get
Yeah.
some new faces in. That's brilliant. Thanks to everyone that came in.
Oh,
That's
it's
always awesome.
amazing. And
Nice to meet people in the community.
we're nearly up to 950 subs, which is fantastic. This is something I want to move on. Obviously, I've got me just our general. I find it hilarious. Get together on a Sunday, every Sunday, guys. Normally, it just open to members. Every now and then, I sling it open to everybody. But yeah, you can come on. We talk about anything, don't we? Come on, absolutely anything. And psychedelics has been a big thing recently, which has been quite interesting for me to learn about. But that happens every Sunday, which is absolutely brilliant. But this is I want to definitely, because of the UK, because we're, I'm based in the UK, and I know many people are. I just want to try and broaden that Bitcoin chat more as we go through different times. Now we're under a different government in America, which could have a major impact on the rest of the world. It's going to be interesting for us to get on, have that safe space to talk about whatever we want to, and I will run this every 4 Wednesdays from today. So look out in my community posts. I'll always update it. I can't thank you enough, Camel, for coming on. I know you're feeling a little bit under the weather. If anyone's got anything else to say it. But if not, I'll call it a day.
Just thanks for everyone that showed up. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time. Hope you found some entertainment or enjoyment or value here. And Andy, thanks again for having us. Thanks again to everyone that came. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you for all the new people that have joined. It's great. That support. Watch my videos, because I've got a with any money that I'm going to start earning through YouTube on this YouTube channel, I'm going to invest probably into Bitcoin, let it heap up over time. I'll track that, and then we'll try and improve the channel as we go. That'd be really cool. That'd be really cool to do that as a way of giving back more than anything. But I just want to make sure as a community we've got that opportunity just to express ourselves in a virtual way, because we all do this virtual thing more than anything, and grow a community, which would be fantastic. So thank you, everybody. Hope that was enjoyable. That's the first one out of the way, and I didn't get drunk, and I didn't misbehave, and I didn't swear too much, which was even more of a bonus. And thank you, Christian, for hanging around. Oh, you've muted yourself.
Thank you very much.
That's
Really.
no problem at all. And thank everybody for the chat. Thank you for all the information that has been exchanged in the chat with all the members, getting well involved. Really appreciate it. Take good care. See you all soon. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.